Hello students. So in the previous class we have discussed the phylum Ctenophora and the Platyhelminthes. So next we'll move on to the another phylum, that is Aschelminthes. Okay. So Aschelminthes, so it is also known as Nematohelminthes or roundworms. Okay. Why the name? Generally it is known as Nematohelminthes means it just look like a thread-like appearance. Just it look like a thread like. Roundworm means generally it looks like a round in the cross section. They are also called as roundworms or Nematohelminthes because of their circular cross section appearance. So generally they look like circular cross section. Fine. So apart from this, Aschelminthes generally they are seen in almost all the habitats. They are aquatic. Again in aquatic, you can see them in fresh water as well as in the marine water. Then some of them are seen in the moist soil and some of them are seen in the form of parasites. So again in the parasites, the most common is the roundworm. Okay. So these are the general habitats of the Aschelminthes. So next we move on to the what are the important characteristic features of Aschelminthes. So Aschelminthes, it is also known as Nematohelminthes or roundworms or nematoda. Okay. Why it is known as means generally the appearance it is circular in the cross section. Then apart from this they are the unsegmented. They can not find any segments on their body. Fine. So first character, what type of grade of organization does the Aschelminthes exhibit? So generally Aschelminthes they shows organ system grade of organization. Organ system grade of organization. So you can see here the organs are well developed. They have got definite organs which are mentioned for the different functions. Okay. So what type of organ system you can see in the Aschelminthes? They have got organ system grade of organization with definite organs which are evolved for the definite function. Next comes the symmetry. So what type of symmetry Aschelminthes exhibits? So they exhibit bilateral symmetry. So you already know that what do you mean by bilateral, where the body can be cut into two equal halves from anterior to posterior axis. So Aschelminthes they exhibit bilateral symmetry or they are bilateral symmetrical animals. Next comes body covering. So again here you can see that in case of the Aschelminthes, generally the body covering, the epidermis is seen in the free living form. In the free living form, you can see that the single layer of epidermis is seen, whereas in case of parasitic, it is having the special adaptation which is known as syncytial. Syncytial means they are nothing but it is a multinucleated cytoplasm without cell boundaries. You will not find any different cell boundaries here. Okay. Then what about the body wall? So again here Aschelminthes, they are triploblastic animals. So triploblastic means you already know that is they are made up of three germ layers, outer ectoderm, inner endoderm and the middle is the mesoderm, right? So they are made up of three germ layers, that is the body wall is they are the triploblastic animals. Next comes the body cavity. So again here in the Aschelminthes, they are pseudocoelomates. So you already know what do you mean by pseudocoelomates. So here the coelom is present in between the body wall, but it is not lined by the mesoderm. Right, it is not lined by the mesoderm. So instead of that, it contains pseudocoelomic fluid. Instead of that, it is having the pseudocoelomic fluid. Okay. That is, they are the pseudocoelomate animals. Aschelminthes are pseudocoelomate animals. Then what about the skeletal system? What type of skeletal system does the Aschelminthes made up of? So generally here Aschelminthes they don't have well-defined skeletal system. They lack distinct skeletal system. But instead of that, they have got a special adaptation, that is the high fluid pressure which contains pseudocoelomate. It is known as the hydroskeleton. The skeleton system which is present in the Aschelminthes, it is commonly known as hydroskeleton. Okay, hydroskeleton system is present in case of the Aschelminthes. Okay. Then what about the digestive system? So again here in case of Aschelminthes, the digestive system is complete with the mouth and the anus, where you can see that two openings are present at two separate ends. Fine. So these are the characteristic features. So just we'll have a glance once from first. So Ascalmenthes, or it is also known as Nematohelminthes or roundworms. So generally here you can see they have got adopted to the marine habitat, marine or terrestrial form. Some of them are seen in the moist form and some of them are seen in the parasitic form. Okay. So generally, Ascalmenthes they exhibit organ system grade of organization with well-defined organs. They have got well-defined organs which is maintained for the different functions. Then symmetry, they exhibit bilateral symmetrical animals. Then generally they have got a single layer of epidermis as the body covering in the free living form. Whereas in case of epidermis, it is made up of syncytium. Then body wall, or generally they are triploblastic animals and they are pseudocoelomic animals. Means you will not find any true coelom present in these animals. Okay. Next comes the skeletal system. The skeletal system which is present in the Ascalmenthes, it is known as the hydroskeleton system. Fine. So last comes the physiological part. So again here in physiological part, first comes the digestive system. So again your digestive system, it is complete with the two openings, this mouth and the anus, which are present at the opposite ends. Okay, so next we'll move on to the remaining characters. Okay, so next we'll move on to another character. So again here in case of Ascalmenthes, respiratory system and the circulatory system is not well developed. So, but instead of that, the respiration generally takes place through the body diffusion. Okay, simple method. Respiration occurs by the diffusion through the general body surface. Fine. And next comes the circulation. So, how the transportation will takes place in the body. So, generally here we already studied in the previous class that it is made up of pseudocoelomic fluid. Right? So, through this fluid only, generally the transportation will takes place in the body. But as such, they don't have any well developed organs for the respiration and the circulation. So instead of that, generally the function is carried out in the body by the simple form. One is through the diffusion, the respiration will take place, and one is, what about the transportation generally takes place by the pseudocoelomic fluid. Okay, through this pseudocoelomic fluid only the transportation will take place in the body. Right. So next comes the nervous system. So again here in case of Ascalmenthes, the nervous system is well developed. The nervous system is well developed and it is consists of nerve ring around the pharynx, from which arises the nerves and it is distributed to the different regions. Okay. So listen here, what type of nervous system is present here means generally the nervous system, it is well developed and it is made up of nerve ring. These nerve rings generally they are present around the pharynx, from which it arises the nerve and it distributed to the different parts of the body. Complete entire region, the nerve rings will be distributed. Okay, that's about the nervous system. Next comes the excretory system. So again your excretory system, it includes an unique excretory system which is consisting of a pair of longitudinal excretory canals which opens outside by means of excretory ports. So generally our excretory system will consist of excretory pores. So how these pores are present? Generally it includes a unique excretory system consisting of a pair of longitudinal excretory canal which open outside by the excretory pore. Okay. Now in simple you can say that excretory system, it is consisting of the excretory pores. Okay. So next comes the important part of this phylum. It is about the reproduction. So generally here you can see that Ascalmenthes they exhibit the sexual dimorphism. Right. So you can differentiate between the male and the female easily. Fine. So here they have got the high reproductive potential. They have got high reproductive potential, and you can see that sexes are separate. They exhibit sexual dimorphism. Then apart from this, generally you can see that the males will be smaller than the females. The size of the males will be small. Males will be small and the females will be larger. The length of the females will be more than the males here. They exhibit sexual dimorphism and the males are provided with the copulatory organs. So generally they are reproductive structure where you can see are developed in case of the males. Then fertilization is internal and the development is the direct. Okay. So that's about the reproduction. So what type of reproduction is seen in case of Ascalmanthus? Keep in mind they exhibit the sexual dimorphism, and easily we can distinguish which is male and which is the female. So generally the males will be smaller and the females will be longer. Okay. Then fertilization is internal. You know what is internal, external in detail we already studied. So again here development is direct, you will not find any larval stage here. Fine. So that's about the general physiological aspects. So what about digestion is complete with two opening, that is mouth and the anus. So when it comes to the respiration it takes place through the simple method, that is by the body diffusion, and the circulation generally the transportation will take place by pseudocoelomic fluid. Then nervous system, so again here they have got well developed nervous system, where the nerve rings which arises from the pharynx and is distributed to the different regions of the body. Then the excretory system it will consist of the excretory pore. Then reproduction, they have got high reproductive potential where the sexes are separate and the males are smaller than the female, and they exhibit sexual dimorphism, and males are provided with copulatory organs. Fertilization is internal, development is direct. Okay, so these are the characteristic features. So when it comes to the classification, in case of Ascalmanthus we have got only one class, that is class Nematoda. Only one class is there. And just you have to remember the example, that is Ascaris or Ascaris lumbricoides, which is commonly known as the roundworm. So apart from this roundworm, hookworm, pinworm, right, different examples are there. So just you have to keep in mind one example. So that's about the phylum Ascalmanthus. So next we'll move to the another phylum, Annelida. So okay, next we'll move to the another phylum, that is the phylum Annelida. So Annelida, it is also called as segmented animals. So generally this phylum it is known for the presence of these segments on their body. So it is commonly known as metamerically segmented animals. Okay. So generally Annelida, you can see it is present in almost all the habitats. It is seen in the aquatic form. So again here in aquatic it is seen in both fresh water as well as the marine water, and some of them are seen in the moist soil, and some of them are seen in the form of parasites, and some of them are seen in the free living form. So again here in the parasitic form, some are seen in the form of ectoparasite. Example is the leech. Okay. So generally Annelida, it is represented, generally they are characterized by the annulated or the segmented body. So generally here you can see that the segments are present on the body. Okay. Then it is represented by the earthworm. Some of the examples you have to remember: earthworm, sandworm, leech. They either live in the moist soil, freshwater form, or the marine water form, or majority you can see them, they are seen in the free living. Some of them are seen in the form of parasites. So again, parasite example, leech is a common example. Okay. So this is just an outline of the Annelida. So when we move to the characteristic features, the important characters exhibited by the Annelida is that first comes the organ grade of organization. So generally here they exhibit organ system grade of organization. Grade of organization is organ system grade of organization. So again here they have got well defined or well definite organs which is maintained for the different function. Complete organ systems are developed in case of the Annelida. Next comes the body shape. Here you can see that generally the body is cylindrical or the tapering at both the ends. Tapering ends you can see in case of the Annelida. Both the ends they have got tapering ends, and it is divided into the number of segments or metamers. So generally you can see that the body surface it has got number of segments on their body like this. It has got tapering ends, and you can see a small lines or the ring-like structures on their body, which is known as segments, or we can also call it as the metamers. Okay, metamerically segmented animals they will call for this Annelida. It's a common name. Then when it comes to the body symmetry, they exhibit bilateral symmetry, or they are bilaterally symmetrical animals. So you can see that where the body can be divided into two equal halves from the central axis. Next comes the body wall. So again here Annelida, they are the triploblastic animals. So again here triploblastic means they are made up of 3 germ layers. Outer is the ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. So you already know that where all these 3 germ layers will be present. So outer layer is the ectoderm and the inner layer is the endoderm and the middle layer is the mesoderm. So they are triploblastic animals. Body wall. So generally in case of Annelida, they are the triploblastic animals with 3 germ layers, outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm and inner will be the endoderm. Okay. Next comes the body cavity. So again here Annelida, they are eucoelomate animals. Eucoelomate means you already know that they are made up of 2 coelom. Right, that is the coelom is present or the body cavity is present between the body wall and the alimentary canal. Fine. So they are the 2 coelomate animals, or we also call it as the eucoelomates. Okay, body cavity. So listen here, generally you can see that the 2 coelom is present in between the body wall and the alimentary canal, which is lined by the coelomic epithelium. Hence we commonly call it as eucoelomate animals. Okay. So what are the characteristic features of Annelida? They exhibit organ system grade of body organization. And generally here the body is cylindrical in shape and it has made up of many segments on their body. We commonly call it as metamers or these segments. Then symmetry, it exhibits bilateral symmetry. Then body wall, they are triploblastic animals and they are eucoelomates which are made up of 2 coelom. Okay, so next we'll move to the physiological part. So, what type of locomotor organs does the Annelida exhibit? So, here you can see that different types of locomotor organs are present in the Annelida depending upon their mode of habitat. So, generally in case of the earthworm, so generally earthworm, the locomotion, it takes place by the contraction and the relaxation of longitudinal and the circular muscles. Okay, it is aided by the chitinous hair-like bristles which are embedded in the body wall, which is known as setae. Okay, so generally setae are known as the locomotory organs of the earthworm. Okay, this question will be asked for 1 marks. Name the locomotory organs of earthworm. So you have to say that setae are the locomotory organs of the earthworm. So, but instead of that, you have to remember the exact definition of the setae. So, what do you mean by setae? They are the locomotory organs, generally which helps for the contraction and the relaxation of the longitudinal and the circular muscles, which are aided by the chitinous hair-like bristles embedded in the body wall, which is known as the setae. So, in case of earthworm, setae are the locomotory organs, whereas in case of Nereis, they have got unjointed lateral appendages, which is known as parapodia. Parapodia are the locomotory organs which are present in case of the Nereis. Next comes in case of the leeches. In case of the leeches, they have got anterior and the posterior suckers, generally which helps in the looping movement. Apart from this, it also helps for the swimming also, which is commonly known as the suckers. In case of leeches, they have got suckers which helps for the anterior and the posterior suckers helps for the looping movement. Okay. So these are the different types of locomotory organs which are present in the different animals. So when we move to the digestive system, so again in case of Annelida, the digestive system, it is complete. You already know what you mean by complete digestive system, right? It is complete and it is in the form of a straight tube which extends from mouth to the anus. Okay, just you can keep in mind the digestive system, it is in the form of this straight tube which extends from mouth to anus. So in simple, we can say the digestive system is complete with the 2 openings. Okay. So next comes the respiratory system. So again here, this is an important feature of the Annelida, where you can find 2 different types of respiratory organs are present, or depending upon their mode of habitat. That is, in case of terrestrial form, generally the respiration, it will take place through the moist skin. Okay, the animals which will respire through the moist skin, we call it as cutaneous respiration. Respiration which takes place through skin, moist skin, which is known as cutaneous respiration, and that is in case of terrestrial form. So when it comes to the aquatic, so again here in aquatic means generally in case of aquatic form, gills are present as the respiratory organs. So when they respire through gills, it is known as bronchial respiration. Okay, bronchial respiration, and the one is a cutaneous respiration. So these are the two types of respiration where you can see in case of the terrestrial form and in case of the aquatic form. Okay. In case of terrestrial form, they will respire through the moist skin, which is known as cutaneous respiration, and in case of aquatic form, they will respire through gills, which is known as bronchial respiration. This question, name the two types of respiratory organs, will be asked for 2 marks. This question will be asked. Okay. So, what are the different types of locomotory organs seen in the annelida? In case of earthworm, setae are the locomotory organs. In case of nereis, parapodia are the locomotory organs, and in case of leeches, suckers will be present. Then when it comes to the digestive system, it is complete with 2 openings. Then respiration, either in terrestrial form, it is by skin, and in the aquatic form, it takes place through gills. Okay, so next we'll move on to the remaining characters. Okay, so next comes the circulatory system. So again here, in case of annelida, the circulatory system is closed type. So again here you can see that for the first time in the animal kingdom, you can see the circulatory system is closed type. So you already know that circulation, generally there are two types, one is open type and another one is the closed type. So again here closed type means they have got the well definite blood vessels, where through blood vessels only the blood will be supplied to the different parts of the body. Okay, in the same way in case of the annelidans, the circulatory system, it is of closed type, appears for the first time in the animal kingdom, and here the blood will flows through a definite system of vessels. Okay, then another important is that you can see here the blood is colored due to the presence of dissolved respiratory pigment, which is known as hemoglobin. Okay, so this you have to keep in mind in case of the annelida. They have got closed type of circulatory system, and they have got color, that is the blood is red in color due to the presence of hemoglobin in the plasma. Okay. When next it comes to the nervous system, so again here nervous system, they consist of nerve ring and the solid double mid-ventral nerve cord with the ganglia. Okay, the nervous system here, it is well developed and it is consisting of the ganglia. So you already know that what do you mean by ganglia or the ganglion. They are nothing but the aggregation of the nerve cells. Okay, ganglion are nothing but the aggregation of the nerve cells. So here the nervous system, they consist of the nerve ring and the double solid mid-ventral nerve cord with the ganglia. Okay. Next comes the excretory system. So again here excretory system, it includes the segmentally arranged tubules, which are commonly known as nephridia. Okay, nephridia are the excretory organs of the annelids. Last comes the reproduction. So again here you can see that the sexes may be separate or the united, and most of the annelids are bisexual. Okay, so here you can see that the development may be direct or indirect. When if it in case of indirect means again they exhibit through the develop through the larva stage, which is known as the trichophoral larva. But some annelids even they reproduce by asexual method. Asexual method, generally it will take place by budding or the fission. Budding or the fission. Okay, where in case of the asexual method. Okay, so these are the important characteristic features of the annelida. Once we'll have a glance, then we'll move on to the classification. So generally in case of annelids, the circulatory system, it is of closed type with well-defined blood vessels, and generally the blood is red in color due to the presence of the hemoglobin. The respiratory pigment, which is commonly known as the hemoglobin, and it gives red color to the blood. Okay. Then comes the nervous system. So again here in case of annelida, the nervous system is well developed, which is consisting of the nerve ring and solid double mid-ventral nerve cord with the ganglia. So again what do you mean by ganglia? Ganglia are nothing but the aggregation of the nerve cells. Excretory system, so again here Nephridia are commonly known as the excretory product of the annelids. Then comes cell production. They will reproduce both by sexual method and the asexual method. That is, sexes may be either they are united or the separate. Again the development it will take place by both the method, the direct or the indirect. If it is indirect means again they will develop through the larva stage, which is known as trophophora larva. Then some annelids they will reproduce by asexual method through budding and the fission. Okay. So these are the important characteristic features exhibited by the annelida. So next we'll move on to the classification. So we'll see what are the classes of annelida. Okay, so next we'll move on to the classification of Annelida. So Annelida generally they are classified into four different classes. First one is the class Polychaetae. Examples. So I have already told you before also the classification is not important, but just you have to remember it, the name and the example. Okay. So first class 1 it is the Polychaetae. Example is the Iris. So again Iris it is commonly known as sandworm. Next class 2 it is the Oligochaetae and example is Peritima. The common is the earthworm. Okay. Next third comes the Hirudinea. Hirudinea example Hirudinaria only. It is commonly known as blood-sucking cattle leech. Leech is an example for the class Hirudinea. Next fourth is the Archaeannelida. Example is the Polychordus. Okay. So these are the four classes. First comes the Polychaetae, Oligochaetae, Hirudinea and Archaeannelida. So examples you have to keep in mind. Okay. So that's about to today's class. We have discussed with the two phylum. One is Ascomyces and the Annelida. Hope you understood all the characters.